Right, so we're gonna do this UV unwrap for Submarine. So go ahead and download the Maya file and its texture file. Okay, so this is what the Submarine look like in Maya. So if you observe, the object is rather complex and you will not get the UV done in one go. Okay, so when you are given a very complex object, you have to break up the UV individually. Okay, so what it means, like, you start with the simplest surface, then from there you move on or work your way up. Okay, now when I open up the UV editor, okay, and I'm just gonna leave it here. Okay, so if you look at the Submarine, right, probably going to start with this guy. Okay, because again, this shape is rather simple, right, as compared to the other parts of the Submarine. Okay, so it's very flat. So again, I'm going to anyhow select, right, and I'm going to deselect by pressing Control left click. Okay, so I'm only selecting that region. Again, I'm going to use like pattern mapping, right. I'm going to use the Z-axis. Okay, it's red. Okay, just leave it there and flip it. Okay, the body is pretty much complex, and also like we need to learn like a cynical mapping because the body is very rounded, and I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay, and again, I'm going to probably start with this guy, right, the flat one. So anyhow, select and deselect that portion. Okay, it's pretty much flat. I want to use my pattern mapping and y-axis. Okay, if this region or if this portion is a bit like squash, you can use the unfold method that we did with the t-shirt. So you go to UV, like everything, shift right click, unfold, and unfold. Okay, again, just make sure the unfold 3D is selected at all times. Okay, so I'm gonna press apply, and now like the shape is better a little bit. So this is before, this is after. Okay, so everything is unfold or flatten out like nicely. Now, I don't think we have like any more like easy bits, right? So what I'm gonna, okay, maybe this one. So we have the flat region here. Okay, so I'm going to select this flat one. Okay, right, this size, right? Quickly selecting this. Make sure like nothing else are selected. So I'm constantly check by pressing 4, right, and I'm selecting this guy all together. Okay, almost done. Yep, so everything is nice. So then again, because the shape is pretty much flat, I'm going to use my pattern mapping again, project from Y, and this is what I get. Okay, and look at the text density, like it's obviously wrong, because if you look at this shape, like it's kind of tiny as compared to this guy. So definitely you're gonna like either make this smaller or make this guy bigger. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to make this guy smaller and just put this there for now. Okay, now again, we're still hunting down all the easy bits in this Submarine. Okay, so maybe this guy, right, it's easy. So I know that the shape like half sphere, but we're still going to use pattern mapping to project that one. Okay, so if I use pattern mapping and I'm using Z, right, this is what I would get. Okay, so I have like enough space for the artist to kind of like paint this region of the Submarine. And again, after that, I'm going to select this and I'm going to unfold it. Okay, So this is what the shape look like if I use planar mapping. So it's pretty okay, right? But I want to show you what happens if I use like sphere. Okay, this one I'm going to use a default setting, and this is what I get. Okay, so the shape is a little bit awkward, and you can still, you can try to adjust it, but there's a lot of like seam happening here. Okay, and I don't really like the shape. Okay, so I prefer to do like planar mapping, even though like the shape is like half sphere. Okay, so I'm going to select this one, right? Oops, select correctly, and I'm going to use planar mapping like that. Okay, so it's nice and easy. Bam. Okay, now, so now we're left with the cylindrical shape. Now, before we jump in and do the cylindrical mapping, I'm just going to create this for the sake of demo purposes, right? So this is a normal cylinder, okay? And if you look at the UV map, right, this is what a typical cylinder will look like. Okay, so what Maya did is that Maya select all this edge, it will cut it, and it will place it as a separate UV shell. Okay, same thing with the bottom, it will select all this, cut it, and place it somewhere else. And this is what the body look like. Okay, and if I turn on my textile density, right, this is what it looks like. So the body is a bit awkward, like I have to make this a little bit wider so I can then see how it is fixing up the textile density. Okay, so now like both are roughly the same size, okay, in terms of the checker pattern. Now, the same principle happening here. So later when you unwrap this body of the submarine, you're gonna have something like this one. Okay, so if I delete this, delete that, right, and if I rotate this guy, so it's pretty much the same basic shape like the submarine, right? The shape is very cylindrical. Okay, now I'm going to delete, right? I'm going to select maybe this one here, right? I'm going to select that region. Okay, so this is when things can get a little bit confusing. Now I'm going to apply my cylindrical mapping. Okay, I'm going to go to UV and then choose the box, make sure everything's set to default setting. I'm going to press apply. Okay, I'm going to leave this thing on. And you're going to get like this weird shape. Okay, so what's happening here is that by default, Maya cylindrical mapping is vertical or standing up. But if you look at the submarine, right, the submarine is laying down on its horizontal axis. Okay, that's why you have this weird kind of like projection. Okay, so the idea is that we're trying to get the projection, so this is the projection cage, to be in the same alignment like the object. In this case, it's a submarine which is on the horizontal axis. Okay, so I'm going to click this T shape, right, icon, move your mouse there, click it with your left mouse button once, and you're gonna get this like blue circle. Okay, so we're gonna use this blue circle to rotate the projection cage. Then you will not have this wonky like projection result. Okay, so I'm gonna move this aside, and I'm gonna click this blue circle once with your left mouse button. I'm gonna tap it, and you're gonna have the ability to rotate in a different axis. Okay, I'm gonna press Ctrl A to get me this. So the idea is that we're trying to move or rotate the projection rather in the same axis as the submarine. Okay, So as you rotate the Submarine UV, will have a better like texture, UV map. Okay, so I'm gonna click this arrow and drag. Okay, so watch what happen, because right now you have the option to choose or modify the X, the Y, or the Z. Okay, so I'm not sure like which one it is, so let's just click one of them and drag. Okay, so as I move, the UV map is getting better and better, right? And you see how everything's become nice and neat. Okay, so I know like the correct choice for this rotation will be my X axis. Okay, I'm gonna undo now. So if you like rotate in the wrong direction, then you will not get the nice UV. Okay, so that's how I identify or check which axis should I be rotating. Okay, so in this case, okay, it will be X. Okay, so I'm gonna undo again. So just to make sure you guys understand, select all these faces, right? Make sure nothing else are selected. Okay, then I'm going to do the cynical mapping. Okay, and again, the cynical mapping is always vertical, so you have to rotate this in the correct orientation with whatever object you have. Okay, so if you're not sure, click the T icon. You have the blue circle. Click once, right? Rotate. Okay, there is X axis, there is Y axis, and there is a Z axis. So I'm using my X. Okay, and that I know that this is my X axis, right? So I want to type this 90 degrees. Okay, so it's perfectly straight. And now I have this nice UV for the tail of the submarine. Now, if you look at the seam or the border, right, it doesn't look nice. So there is 1, 2, 3 extra faces. It is a little notch where it's supposed to be placed there. So again, while you're still in this cynical mapping projection, you try to rotate. Okay, so I'm trying to rotate using this yellow line. So as I rotate, watch what happened to this notch, that notch, and also the border. Okay, so the border indicates like there's a little notch because the line is not straight. So I'm trying to make this line like nice and straight, like this. Okay, and again I'm trying to hide this and place that border at the bottom. So I'm going to keep rotate into something like that. Okay, maybe somewhere around the middle, right? Something like this. Okay, so I have the UV done for the tail.